Help me! Help me! Oh, hello! Here's my latest crazy creation, Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2. And speaking of 2, she's got a bodacious set of tartars I want to get to know better. But on today's video, ladies and gentlemen, Dustborn, that amazing, brave and stunning video game, has just gotten highlighted in a video by the BBC.
Even if that means I have to hurt you.
And it only gets worse for that woke organization.
Kung Fu hot dog must be stopped.
God, don't you just love AI?
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go. Come again. Don't worry, baby, I'm coming.
Well, space fans, exciting news, huh? And there's even more in part 2.
On today's episode of Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Okay, you can come. Are you coming?
Kind of busy right now.
And I'm coming for it, Ken. I'm coming for the fucking money, you piece of shit.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling...
In the ass end of space, even aliens watch Jason King with Kung Fu Hot Dog.
This is the greatest show I've seen in my life.
Duke Nukem likes this guy.
Approved by 1970s Robert Redford.
So here we are, ladies and gents. Dustborn. We're just at the start of letting games expand boundaries. BBC News. This was such a worthy item they had to classify it as news. Let's go. So this video was released to 12,000 views 1 month ago, and look at that glorious ratio, 1,600 downvotes compared to only, I don't know why I did that for, 124 upvotes. Oh my word. I guess when you see a bullshit title like Dustborn, we're just at the start of letting games expand boundaries. Well, what do you expect? BBC? Red Thread Games?
It's more interesting, it's the right thing to do, and I think the stories that come out of it are also, they're more original.
Oh, look at that. No one forced us to make a game with a diverse cast.
Hello, my name is Dominique Tipper and I play Pax in Dustborn.
My name is Ragnar Tornquist. I am a creative director at Dustborn Games and game director and writer on Dustborn.
Well, hey Dominique, how are you doing?
Hello, nice to see you.
And you.
Oh, sincerity breathes forth from her mouth.
Fair to say, a lot of people recognise you from the
Yeah, and this guy Richard just looks like Noddy. He has no clue what he's doing.
That's the very successful Amazon TV show. You've been up to something quite interesting recently. Tell us kind of what it's all about and how you got involved with it.
I play Pax.
So, I've never seen The Expanse, but apparently she's like the second build cast member of that show. And then Kaz Avnar, who played a prominent character, was cancelled due to allegations, shall we say. Never seen it, heard it's good. And she looks mixed heritage here, by the way, and there's kind of a reason why I highlight that, but you'll see in a few moments. I only watched the first half of this interview last night before I started to die of laughter. So the next half of this video, which is only 10 minutes long, I have no idea what's coming up.
Pax in Dustborn. She's the kind of person that you play in the game and you're following her story. And she is what you call an anomal. It means that she has this kind of power where she can weaponize and use her words. So she's on the run with like a group of her kind of friends and family.
So it's really kind of funny that weaponizing words in the UK is actually a crime now.
Family, as the game goes on, you kind of develop relationships with them. And they are delivering a package to Nova Scotia in Canada.
Hide your back crack, love. We don't want to see that.
When you have a moment, I'd like to talk about something.
Yeah, how actually does a developer based in Norway end up working on a game that's set in a sort of futuristic dystopian USA?
That's a good question. It's not the first time I've heard that question. I mean, first off, the idea of the American road trip is very, very sort of embedded in our culture, I think. It's sort of a default in many ways, right? In terms of pop culture. It's where a lot of pop culture comes from. And there's also natural.
When you decode that message, it means, what did a bunch of white folks from Norway work on an American pop culture themed game with a bunch of diverse characters? That's what you should really be asking, but this is BBC journalism 2024, folks, so why am I not surprised? I mean, you can take a bunch of kids and they could do a better job interviewing these cast members than this moron right here, Noddy.
Place to do a story about pop culture and about language and about this sort of like I said, this melting pot of cultures and ideas.
You look nervous, pal.
You mentioned how America is a bit of a melting pot there, and you've got a very diverse array of characters. There's a lot of focus in the industry at the moment on making sure that characters that do come from different backgrounds are kind of authentically represented. How have you approached that challenge with Dustborn?
That's an interesting question because, as you probably know, like there are a lot of gamers in the world who are unhappy with games that have characters who don't necessarily look like gaming characters used to look 10, 20, 30 years ago.
What's that supposed to mean? Are we saying that people of a diverse group are not happy with how they're represented in entertainment, or they're not seeing enough of themselves? And again, what's really funny about these virtue signalers right here, they can't look the camera in the eye and say these things. It's like, well, yeah, it's so true that 30 years ago, I mean, yes, games have been going that long, but again, if you go back even 20 years ago, it's nobody complained about anything. It's just now. By the way, towards the end of this video, folks, I've got a theory about what's going to be happening with entertainment in general. So stick around.
We really set out to create a cast of characters that just feel like a representation of the world as it is today and America as it is. You know, it's diverse.
Yeah, it's not about the world today. And in fact, wasn't it Blue Mink? I think that's the group, the 1960s group with Madeline Bell. They sung about the world being a big melting pot. So that was late 1960s America that was aware of that fact. So again, why is he saying that we have to make a video game that reflects today's actual socio-political landscape out there? It's a effing video game, dude. Just make a game that's far removed from reality. When we come home from work or looking after our loved ones, you want to escape life for about 2 hours or more and play a video game or immerse yourself in your favorite book, comic book or film, right? So again, I don't understand where this stupid narrative of, hey, guess what? We've got to put reality into the video game. Marvel did this as well with their ridiculous streaming TV shows. All forms of entertainment are doing it. In fact, the film Twisters, the Asian director, I want to say Asian, I don't mean Indian like me, he said he just wanted to make a film and not bring any kind of messaging about the environment into the movie, which is the exact right approach you need to take.
It's not just filled with people who look like me. And that's also why we've sort of tapped into the cast we have. You
can tell I'm pissed today.
More representative of the characters in the game, and trying to sort of just learn more and try to create a more diverse cast that all skills have. Just because we think it's more interesting, it's the right thing to do, and I think the stories that come out of it are also, you know, they're more original, they're more interesting, I think.
What can I do for you this time, man?
You mentioned that you don't engage with the negativity, and there is a lot of that online. On the flip side of that is that
because you keep bringing it up,
make diverse casts more prominent. Actually, when they mean a lot to other people who aren't kicking off about it. Has anyone already got in touch with you more along those lines?
Not with Dustborn yet. I think maybe when it's out and a bit more out in the world, that will happen. But definitely with other stuff I've done, like The Expanse, because I mean, I kind of hate buzzwords and buzz sentences like representation matters, but they do come from somewhere. And I think there's nothing quite like seeing yourself on screen or in a game, or if you've never ever seen it before, or even if you have just different versions of it that isn't stereotypical. And so for me, that always matters more than any negative feedback, because I'm just like, you know, normally the people who are negative about it's not for them. And I won't really stand for it, to be honest. I'm from the East End, like, if y'all want to hit...
I don't care, love. I'm from South London. And now the thing is, the first part of what she says is kind of okay. Representation matters. It doesn't really... It's not a buzz phrase that people should be embracing. I don't think it matters anyway. I think basically whatever's the right thing to go with entertaining people, just go with it. But then like, oh, I'm from the East End of London and this person looks like she's of mixed heritage anyway. So the fact that she talks about, oh, some depictions of maybe her heritage or other diverse ethnic groups haven't been well represented. Well, hey, guess what? I'm here to send that message out. And if you disagree with me, I don't want to hear your opinion. That's how it comes across.
Hit me up on social media and do some of that nonsense. Like, go ahead and try. I'm not...
Yeah, but again, no one is going to hit you up on social media, Miss Tipper. She's actually inviting this trouble, which I find hilarious. She's walking into the trap of what she wants people to do. Again, people, Ingram Moses, or Moses Ingram, the actress from the Obi-Wan series, claimed she received death threats or racist threats from people upset with her character in that TV show. No, she didn't. She couldn't even show one receipt. It's ridiculous. So again, I think what's going to happen now when Dustborn is released, she's going to claim she's been receiving hateful messages. You won't. If you do, it's just going to be like how crap the video game actually is. It's an original video game, sure, but I don't like the characters. I don't like the premise. It just looks awful. The cel-shaded nature of it. It's like a poor man's version of Borderlands.
Not the one.
Yeah, with your tea cozy on your head.
Hi! Hello! Hi, officer.
I think there's kind of a bit of a misunderstanding on the part of some players. You mentioned there's some gamers that do get a bit upset when they see maybe people who don't look like game characters used to. There's often suggestion that these things are kind of forced in. Where do you sort of sit on?
Oh, gaming characters that don't look like they used to. Over-sexualized females like Eve from Stellar Blade or Fiona from Vindictus Defying Fate. Yeah, that's what we want to see, not the ugly trolls that we see right now from Western video gaming.
On that.
Yeah, people say that we sort of like we've been forced to have a diverse. I wonder who forced us to do that, because it's definitely...
I can tell you who forced you into making diverse characters. BlackRock, Vanguard, ESG, DEI. Claire, can you stop standing there? You're really distracting me now. Oh, look at that sincere smile, ladies and gentlemen.
I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I think
liar.
Publishers and developers are just understanding more of that there's a wider and more diverse audience out there. Games are becoming more global. Games are becoming more accessible to everyone, and that means the audience.
Bro, are you even an actual gamer? Have you played video games all your life? Have you ever seen any animosity out there about people fighting over their gender or race? It's always been the console war. This dude is an absolute moron, so I'm willing to give him a chance. But seriously, this guy looks like he's half dead anyway, so carry on, dude.
Unfortunately, there is pushback. I mean, it's very few people, but those people are unfortunately very loud and angry and upset.
Oh, boo-hoo.
But, you know, there's room for different games and different stories and different people, and we're just making one game.
I mean, you got this character right here. You got Lincoln Clay from Mafia 3. And nobody celebrated him, despite the fact he was an absolute badass bro character in that game.
Game that will hopefully find an audience. You know, we just want to sort of stand out and do something that is, different from everything else out there.
You mentioned the partnership with Quantic Dream, and in fairness, we are talking about games that were released some time ago, but I know some of their previous releases have had some criticism for maybe not being...
Yeah, so that's Valerie Curry, who's a really good actress, and from what I remember about the controversy of this game, like, she is a servant in the house of an abusive father to his child, And just because she helps the child to escape from the abuser, apparently that was deemed not an appropriate thing to do. I can't remember exactly what the fallout was from that, but just because a character like her does that, apparently it was deemed, oh, why did Quantic Dream actually approve this video game? So again, why this noddy presenter talks about, well, this was made a few years ago and things have changed. And I mean, look at a video capture of Valerie Curry right here. It's really, really good. You won't be getting that again anytime soon in a Western video game.
Quite as socially aware, all the portrayals of maybe female characters haven't been so great. With the game like yours, it's obviously quite socially conscious and trying to do a good job of representation. Were there any initial concerns going into that partnership, or has that all kind of gone quite smoothly?
No, I think Quantic Dream always sort of felt this is a red thread game, and they wanted to work with us because of who we are and what we've done in the past. Games have gone through a radical change in the last 10 years. I think we were, all of us, not too socially conscious 10, 15 years ago. And I think in the last 10 years, we've seen drastic changes.
So that's interesting, right? I've never heard of this game from Quantic Dream, but what they're implying from this remark is, well, we can't have scenes like this anymore in a video game. We've moved on from that. So you're kind of attacking the publisher that's approved your game by showing their clip here. It's kind of ridiculous.
Change in the last 10 years. I think we were, all of us, not too socially conscious 10, 15 years ago. And I think
or in your case, pal, unconscious.
And I think, you know, we are just doing our thing. Quantic saw the potential in Dustborn,
and by all means, do your own thing, dude.
What we wanted to
no
do.
one cares.
Being sort of a pressure to do anything different other than make a game that Red Thread and our team can be proud of, and that is true to our values. And it's a game that personally to us.
I guess actually that's the power of games, isn't it? Because they are, what they are really good at is helping people to see through the eyes of somebody else, because there's that sort of interactive, experiential element of them, which maybe you don't get so much in the other mediums. I guess that is, must be quite exciting, actually.
It is a lot more interactive, and you spend more hours, I think, doing it, potentially.
You spend more hours, you think, so you don't play video games, do you, Dominique?
So maybe even on that level, I mean, I think gaming is really behind for representation.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I do think it's a good medium for that. I do think there is a big opportunity to make them more of a medium that people can use to change their views. I mean, it's still entertainment, it's still art. It doesn't always have to be that deep. But yeah, I do think it's a good medium for that. But we'll see. There's also quite a resistance to it. I think Dustborn is really cool for how multi-layered the characters are in it.
And the resistance will rise.
And I try and always look for that in things that I do. I think we can continue to make art that combats that, because it can change people's attitudes on a social level. And I think that then can filter into changing things on a systemic level.
I think all art has the potential to be
systemic and social, the two S words you have to be aware of. SS. Oh no, I didn't say that. That's just how it came out.
Make people more open-minded, absolutely, to tell stories that can affect people in different ways. I know I've been shaped throughout my life by media, by
you mean brainwashed?
Movies. Maybe less so by games, but games has more potential, I think, and I think we're really seeing that again in the last 10 years. Putting players in positions and playing characters that don't look like them, who may be characters they don't meet in their lives, and experiencing cultures that are far away from their own, it can be helpful and it can be eye-opening. And I think the pushback we see is probably because of that, because it can be challenging, right? And I understand why.
Or you can do this thing, Thor, where you can take an aeroplane to a foreign country, meet some of the locals there, and, you know, touch some grass at the same time.
People might push against it, but I think if you embrace it, I think that can be groundbreaking. And I think we're just at the start of that, of letting games be sort of tools for expanding boundaries, be they cultural or political or social, you know, just being able to see the world from different perspectives.
1 minute to go,
but
and it's
that
finished.
also does require us to support developers who, again, don't look like me, right?
Yeah,
Because
of course.
75% of developers in the Western world probably look exactly like me.
Whatever,
and we
man.
need to change that. We need to support studios and developers who can bring new stories and new perspectives to games. We can try here, and we've done that with Dustborn. I think we've done a decent job, but in order to really see like a change in the stories games can tell and what they can do to people, I think we need more diversity on the development side as well.
Of course you do.
So hopefully that's starting to happen.
Diversity without merit. That's what he's talking about.
The thing you most enjoyed about working on Dustborn, or what you're most looking forward to people experiencing when they play it?
I just think it's a really fun, emotional game. And I think my favourite thing about it was it's always fun to use your voice as a tool for acting rather than like your whole self. So that's always a challenge for me. But I just think there's so many elements in it that are so much fun. The band stuff is really fun. So I just think people are really going to enjoy playing it and going on the journey with Pax and the gang. So I just hope ultimately they have fun playing it.
I figured I'd go with you and see.
Oh boy, I'm glad that's over. I was about to have an aneurysm. Oh boy, let me just get back to the screen that I know you all love. Oh, so here's what I think about what I've just seen. They don't really talk a lot about Dustborn, the video game. It's more about how people are going to be receptive to it. And that's just very bad marketing. That's bad optics. You should be going in there and saying, yes, I play the character of Pax. We do this. We go to Nova Scotia to deliver this package. We had a fun time behind the scenes. None of that. It all becomes, well, why do people hate representation in video gaming? It is the most hypocritical comment I've actually heard in the last few years when it even comes to entertainment as a big spectrum. Now, at the beginning of this video, I talked about my theory about what's going to happen to entertainment in general. We're heading for a big reset, folks, because Marvel and Disney are kind of doing that now with their outputs in the future. I mean, if you didn't know, Mahershala Ali might not be Blade after all. People might want Wesley Snipes to come back because, spoiler alert, and I'm pretty sure you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine already, but Wesley Snipes reprises the role of Blade in that film. And he's pretty good, except I didn't like the fact they rehashed the line he used in the original movie, which I thought was a bit cheesy, but whatever.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I thought Channing Tatum as Gambit with a very terrible Rouge, Louisiana French accent was absolutely hilarious. I think people didn't actually get it was meant to be a terrible dialogue delivery, so that worked for me as well. But honestly, I think the way video games, especially Western video gaming, it is heading for a crash when they don't make profits on things like AC Shadows or Star Wars Outlaws, and people are looking more to the eyes of the East with things like Vindictus Defying Fate, Mecha Booty, as I love to call it, Mecha Break to give its proper name, Stellar Blade obviously, and there are other South Korean games coming out in the next couple of years I'm really excited for. Don't forget as well, we've got the other game from Nikki Games from, what is that game called again? Damn it, Spine. That's coming out very soon. Looking forward to playing that actually. So the female character Redline in that game looks amazing. She looks good. Who the fuck are you? We got producers here talking about, we're going to re-release this game. We're going to try and socially engineer the people's perceptions of representation, when actually what you're doing is making it 10 times worse. Why do you think I like characters like Claire Redfield right here, spending hours doing insane creations with her on my tools because I'm an insane individual like that? Pair me up with the Joker. You never know. We could become a brand new double act since against Abbott and Costello. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading for a reset in gaming. It will happen, and when it does, it will go back to basics. Like James Bond will also go back to basics whenever they cast who I think they're going to cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson, think he's a good fit. But I'll see me on the next video.
Tune in next time, Space Freaks, and hear your doobry go ping in the next gripping installment of
Kung Fu Hot Dog.